Everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, if you watch the show regularly, you know from time to time, I let you know about bundles that are happening. What bundles are simply things that are bundled together. In this case, ebooks and courses. At least the ones I'm involved with are always 100% vegan and or plant-based. This one is called the plant-based bundle, and it's going on a few more days until Sunday, July 10th at 8:59 p.m. Pacific time, where for the price of $50, you get, if purchased separately, over $4,000 worth of ebooks and courses. And when I bring on contributors to the bundle to talk about what's in the bundle and maybe do a recipe or two. So today we have Edith Agoston, and she's going to be making a recipe from the bundle. It's an anti-inflammatory. I cannot speak today. I had a rough show. Those of you that were here earlier knows what happened. And I had a rough start today. An anti-inflammatory spirulina smoothie. We learned a little bit about spirulina this week. Did not know much about it, but we'll learn more. Please welcome Edith to the show. It's nice to meet you. And you're wearing pretty much my favorite color.
Hi, Chef. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Well, thank you for coming on. So, smoothie recipes don't take a long time. So let's save it for a little bit and let's find out a little bit about you, Edith, why you do what you do, when you became vegan, and why.
Okay, so I feel like I've always been passionate about health and wellness my entire life, but I never knew how to make it a career. So I'm an old millennial, and back when I was going to college, things like this weren't an opportunity. And so I just kept working in the field that I was in initially, and didn't think that this would be something I could pursue later in life. And so I just kind of had a hobby of reading nutrition books about health and wellness. And then when I was 30, I started having digestive issues, and it was kind of a combination of the high stress job that I was in, not eating the proper foods. And then I also believed that I wasn't following my soul path. And so I think all of those things combined led to some digestive issues that were very uncomfortable. And unfortunately, our medical industry just wasn't set up in a way to really help me at the time. I'm not sure if it is now either, but I remember going to the doctor, and basically they just assumed I had an ulcer, and they didn't even really do much of an analysis. They just asked me some questions. They said, "Oh, you must have an ulcer. We'll give you some prescription drugs," and they sent me on my way. And I just thought, geez, there's something wrong with this picture. My intuition said, this can't be right. And am I going to be taking these prescription drugs for the rest of my life? And so with that, it kind of brought me back to that passion of me, researching and reading about health and wellness. And I thought I better look into this myself. And lo and behold, I found a lot of information about eliminating certain foods that could be contributing to inflammation and pain, with my digestion. And through that process, I found the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It's a health coaching school in New York. And I had one of those aha moments, in the third eye, where I just knew that this was the right path for me. So I quickly signed up. I got enrolled and I became a certified health coach. And through the program that they offer, they cover all sorts of different types of dietary preferences. But what really truly resonated with me was the plant-based diet, and then some spiritual modalities like Ayurveda, for example. And so then I started reading about different plant-based diet books and the authors who had written them. And the one that really stuck with me was the China study. Oh my goodness. Once I read that, I knew that I didn't need to eat animal products anymore to be healthy. And so that kind of started me on this vegan journey. I literally went vegan overnight after reading that, because I'd already been interested. I was always kind of grossed out with animal products. I don't know if you felt that way too, but I remember just not looking forward to cooking any type of animal products prior to this experience. And so when I got the green light, when I knew I didn't need them to be healthy, I was so excited and I went all in right away.
So many people, that was the book, the China study.
Yeah. Well, it was the largest epidemiological study ever conducted, I think, till this day. And so, you know, with all the evidence in there, you can't read that book and think, oh, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. You know, you can't ignore that kind of information.
And how long ago was that?
So I've been vegan for a little over 5 years. It feels like a lifetime, though. Honestly, I feel like that was a past life before, and I know that I'm going to be vegan for the rest of my life. Like it's not even a question. I don't even crave any animal products, to be honest. It's just a lifestyle.
And how's your digestion now?
It's much better. So when I cut out dairy and eggs, it improved drastically. And then when I made the switch to following my soul path, after I started my health coaching business, things just started to improve in every aspect of my life. So yeah, I definitely feel much better, and I'm very passionate about sharing this information, because I hated that feeling of going to the doctor and not getting an answer. You know, just getting that prescription drug prescribed to me. I just don't think that anyone should have to have that be the only option. So I'm very passionate about sharing this information, and hope that it can help others along the way.
Nice. So do you work with people one-on-one, in groups? What do you do?
I work with people one-on-one, but I would love to start group coaching as well. I have had some workshops in the past at yoga studios, plant-based cafes, just small businesses like that where I've had an audience of 20 to 30 people. And that was really fun and really fulfilling. But I also enjoy the one-on-one connection, because I feel like you can really make a difference when you're with someone, and you can actually go through their refrigerator, their pantry, and then show them how to make recipes in their own kitchen. Because oftentimes, you know, that's how you make a habit, you know, stick, when you're actually in your own kitchen using your own tools. And that's a way that I feel like I'm making a bigger difference in someone's life.
What was your diet like before you switched to 100% plant-based? Was it like the standard American diet, or how did you grow up?
No, so I'm Hungarian, and we grew a lot of our own food. So I had a lot of locally grown produce in my diet. And I'm glad you asked this question, because we also had animals, Chef. And this was one of the flags that kind of placed like the vegan diet in my mindset in the beginning. So we had pigs, we had chickens, we had rabbits, and I was about 12 to 15 during this stage. And I remember making friends with the animals. And then I remember seeing my parents, who grew up in communist Hungary, and, you know, for them, it wasn't even, you know, a blip on the radar to go and kill a chicken for the dinner. And so I watched them do that. And as a child, it was really heartbreaking. I remember seeing specifically one of the pigs really suffer. And it really left a mark on me. And it was just so sad. And at that young age, I thought something's wrong with this. So that was kind of a little imprint that I had, that I've gone back to since my adult transition to the vegan diet. But to answer your question, we were eating produce that we grew, and then we had animals that we raised. So it was still healthier. However, when I was in high school, you know, you go out to lunch with your friends and you eat the garbage fast food. So I definitely had some of the standard American diet within my routine, especially in those high school years. And then I was struggling with my weight as well. And so after that, when I went to college, I made a lot of changes in my diet and was just eating primarily whole foods. So it was definitely healthier than the regular standard American diet. However, it was definitely not vegan at that time.
Nice. That's great. What do you eat now?
Oh, so now I start the day with a lemon water, and then I do celery juice. So I follow medical medium protocols as often as I can. So I'm definitely a firm believer in his tools helping to eliminate pathogens and bacteria and viruses in the body, which in turn reduces inflammation. So I do a lemon water, I do celery juice every day except for when I'm traveling. And then after that, I usually get a workout in. And then after that, I have a big smoothie bowl. And then after that, I'm just drinking lemon water. And then I have a big salad for dinner. And then with the salad, I often have steamed vegetables. And then sometimes like tempeh or beans. So I'm pretty much raw till dinner. And then the dinner is still going to have a salad with raw vegetables and then some cooked foods added in. And that's honestly when I feel my best, is when I'm following this routine.
Nice. That sounds great. What do you do? Do you exercise a lot?
Yeah, I love to run. So I used to run 5Ks and 10Ks, and I've ran maybe about 40 half marathons and 2 full marathons. But now I don't do the long distance just because I am a little bit older now and it does wear on the body, the long distance running. So I'm sticking to like the 5K distance, and then I love to weight train. I need to do some more yoga, but I haven't made that a habit quite yet. So I need to incorporate that. And then I swim, and then I bike around St. Petersburg. I actually don't have a car right now. I moved from Seattle to Arizona, and then from Arizona to St. Petersburg, and I just flew. I sold my car in Seattle, so I use my bike to get around town and run my errands. So I'm definitely living the green lifestyle right now.
Well, and the blue lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Nice. So there's a question from Susanna who's watching live, and she said, I hear about lemon water a lot. What are the benefits?
So basically it adds life to your water. So our water nowadays is essentially dead. I would say the healthiest water we could drink would be like fresh spring water if we were to go and collect it. However, that's challenging for the average person. You have to live near an actual spring. You have to drive there. You have to collect it. You have to carry it back to the car. Then you have to transport it and back into your home. And ideally, you would do it in glass, so it would be really heavy. And then another issue nowadays is, pretty much all water sources are contaminated. So even the spring, you would have to get it tested to see if there's any environmental toxins in there. So essentially, the next best thing is to just filter your water. And then when you add the lemon to it, it adds life force energy to the water. It essentially wakens the water up. It adds nutrients to the water, vitamins, minerals, and that also assists the liver. So it helps the liver to detoxify. So for example, when you're sleeping, for 8 hours, your liver is working hard on your behalf. It's grabbing all of those toxins, it's preparing them for elimination. And then in the morning, when you get up and you have that lemon water, it's like a high five to the liver. It allows the liver to release. The liver trusts you, and it helps you to release those toxins that it was capturing through bowel movement. So
nice. Thank you. Let's see. You mentioned you're going to use spirulina, and what is it? What are the benefits of it?
So there are a lot of benefits to spirulina. It obviously has nutrients in it, and it's a protein source. It's got chlorophyll, but the main reason I take spirulina is to help move heavy metals out of the body. So it's one of those amazing ingredients that mobilizes heavy metals out of the physical body. So this is another point to the contaminated environment that we're living in. Every single human being on the planet today has heavy metals in their body. So it's really important to be consuming these substances that assist the natural detoxification that takes place, just because our bodies are up against so much, that we really need to help them out. So it's one of the ways in which we can move some contamination out of the body. It's also a good iron source.
Cool. And you just buy it like Whole Foods or the health food store?
Yeah, you can get it at Whole Foods. You just want to make sure that that's not contaminated as well. So you want to research the brand that you get it from, and you want to make sure that it's grown in an area where you're not adding more environmental toxins into your body. So a lot of places grow it in like a covered area nowadays. And then they do like third-party lab testing to make sure it's contaminant free. So I just always do a little bit of research before I pick the brand that I'm going to use. But yeah, you can go to Whole Foods and get some.
Nice. Cool. Do you have this every day?
I try to have spirulina every day. So if it's not in this particular smoothie that I'm going to make, then I like to do the heavy metal detox smoothie, the medical medium recipe, which is a banana, frozen wild blueberries, dulse, cilantro, spirulina, barley grass juice powder, and an orange or orange juice.
Right. Is this a recipe that's in the bundle? And maybe you could talk about the books that you have in the bundle.
Yeah. So this is in my 7-day raw vegan lifestyle guide. So I have that book in the bundle, and then I have the healthy vegan whole food plant-based lifestyle guide. So I have 2 books in the bundle, and this is my first time in the plant-based bundle. I was in the raw vegan bundle last go round, but this is the first time I get to be a part of this one, so I'm excited.
Nice. Are you big on juicing as well?
Yeah. So every day I have the celery juice, and then if I have time and if I have the produce, I'll do a second juice. But every day I make sure I get that celery juice in. And then another favorite of mine is cucumber juice. I love to juice pineapple. I also have the Namaje too. I think I saw a couple of your last videos.
Everybody that's been on for the bundle week has that juicer. It's quiet. It seems great.
Yeah, it's a really good juicer. What I love about it is it's so quick and efficient, and you can really load it up, which is awesome, because every other juicer I've had, you have to cut the produce into like tiny little pieces and, put one thing in at a time. So yeah, I really like that juicer.
Yeah, everybody seems to be the juicer du jour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see what you got for us.
Okay. So I've got a couple of ingredients in the freezer just because I didn't want them to thaw out. So I'm going to grab those.
Is there a big vegan scene where you live in Florida?
Yes. Oh my goodness, Chef. It's amazing. So I lived in Seattle for 30 years. And Seattle has a decent vegan scene, I would say, but I feel like I still struggle to find my people. And then when the situation happened with the virus, a lot of the vegan restaurants closed down, which was really sad because they had a lot of closures there. And so then I went to Arizona, and Phoenix has a decent vegan scene too, but St. Petersburg, Florida has a pretty big vegan scene. I've actually met probably a dozen vegan people in just a few months, which I really think is good because that's never happened to me in any city I've lived in before.
Nice.
We have so much abundant produce here. but it really makes it easier.
Do you, I don't know if you know Robbie Barbero, but he always talked about a place called Miami Fruit.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Miami fruit. Yeah, they ship tropical fruit, I think all over the US perhaps. But I'm fortunate enough, there's a farmer's market here where you can just go every weekend and buy your own tropical produce.
Have you ever had the egg fruit, or I think it's called canistel?
No, I haven't. I need to try that.
It's so good. It's like eating a pumpkin pie. It's really ridiculous. It's so
Oh my
good.
gosh. There's a couple of other, so when I first got here, I was trying all sorts of different tropical fruits. I don't even know the name of half of them, to be honest with you, just because I didn't grow up with them. But there was a couple of them that tasted like sweet potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question. Thank you. I don't know. I couldn't do this show without Susanna in the field, thinking of wonderful questions. But first, I want to say Janie mentions she's enjoying the bundle. I keep forgetting. I got to post some links to that. And Susanna said, how long was your training at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition? And what did you love about the program?
So it's a 1-year course. And what I loved about it was they essentially introduce you to a ton of different modalities. So there was, a course on the vegan diet. There was paleo. There was a course on Ayurveda. There was, I think they might have even covered keto. And so they let you choose what resonated with you. But they gave you so many resources so that you can continue. Because obviously 1 year isn't long enough to learn everything you need. So they give you resources in terms of which direction you're going to go to further your knowledge. And then you do get to work in groups, which I like. So I loved that. They had a lot of credible speakers. They had Deepak Chopra come and speak, which was amazing. So I learned a lot about Ayurveda, which was huge for me, because we all have different body constitutions, and when I first went vegan, I actually didn't lose any weight because I have the Kapha constitution. And so to understand and learn about how each body type, is different, and how we adjust depending on what foods we're eating, and how to best navigate that field, depending on, how your body works, was huge for me.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you mean different constitutions? Do you mean like doshas, like Ayurvedic medicine doshas?
Yeah. I'm a Kapha dosha. And are you more Pitta Vata?
You bet. Well, I don't know, but that's what Victoria Moran said I am. So I'm that one.
I can see by your face structure. You have like nice cheekbones. And you kind of have an angled chin coming down. So that's more Pitta Vata. Us Kapha types, we generally have kind of a rounder face. We're a little bit curvier. And then we have like a little more tissue on our ears. And then we have thicker skin typically. And our digestion is slower, whereas Pitta is going to have a faster digestion. And then Vata could be also slower. Vata types are like very lean, and they have a harder time gaining weight regardless of what they're eating, unless they have some sort of a chronic health condition.
Yeah.
So
Mona wants to know how you find out your type.
So there are a lot of Ayurvedic practitioners out there, and most of them have an online quiz that you can take. Obviously, the best case scenario would be to work with an actual Ayurvedic practitioner in person. However, those quizzes are pretty good. And if you are like stuck on an answer, like you could go either A or B on something, think of how you were as a child. So, if the question is, is your digestion fast or slow? And lately it's been kind of both. Think of how you were as a child, and then pick that answer.
Yeah, makes sense. But regardless of one's dosha, a plant-based diet can support all of them, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I love Ayurveda, but I would never recommend someone consume ghee, which they have. But Ayurveda is like 5,000 years old, right? So obviously we have to evolve with the times. And so in the modern world that we live in, I think everybody should be plant-based. I mean, obviously for the environment, for the animals, and then for our health, because it's the one diet that supports the detoxification as much as possible. And so with everything that we're up against nowadays, I think everyone would benefit from a plant-based diet.
Absolutely. Thanks for saying that.
Okay.
What blender are you using?
I'm using a Vitamix. That's the Professional Series 750. It's pretty powerful, but I will warn you, it's a little bit loud.
That's okay. A lot of times Zoom will mute it, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. That's great. So I'm going to add my liquid first, just because that helps the blender work. And today I'm using orange juice. You could use coconut water or plant milk. I feel my best when I keep the fats low. So I always pick either orange juice, water, or coconut water. And then I generally only do the plant milk if it's like a treat or like right after a workout, for example. So we're going to go with orange juice. I've got maybe a half a cup or a little bit more. And then I generally add my powders. I think that they work best once you add the liquid and then the powders, it'll get emulsified easier. So I'm adding in my spirulina. I've got a good teaspoon with that beautiful green. And then the coconut I'm going to save for a topping sprinkle. So I'm going to go in with my spinach. I've got 2 cups of loose spinach here. And you can use a different green if you'd like. I really love spinach. It's so good for you. It's just loaded with nutrients. It's another protein source. So leafy greens are a great way to get your plant protein in. And then I'm going to go in with probably a solid cup of frozen mango. Mango is loaded with vitamins as well. It has anti-cancer properties, which a lot of people don't know. It's definitely a beneficial fruit to consume for digestive health as well. And then I've got a couple of frozen bananas. And bananas are also better for you than most people think as well. They're also really good for digestion. And they are a wonderful electrolyte because they have so many minerals in them, like manganese, obviously potassium, everybody knows. And so the fruit combined with the green is really great in terms of electrolytes to give you that sustained energy. Okay, so this is a really simple smoothie. Those are the only ingredients that I'm going to be blending today. And then I am going to top the smoothie with some fresh mango that I've got cut up and a little drizzle of coconut flakes just to make it fun and tasty.
It's more like a smoothie bowl almost.
Yeah, although I'm going to use a cup this time, but I generally do use bowls. But I'm 3 hours ahead of you, so I already have my smoothie bowl, which is my second or my first real meal of the day. So I didn't want to make a huge serving. Okay. And I need my tamper. So cover your ears. I think that's pretty well mixed. I love that gorgeous green. Do you like to do green smoothies too?
I did for a very long time when I was first losing weight and when I was getting off Coke Slurpees, but I'm cold all the time. So that's the only thing I don't like about them is they make me cold.
So that's the vata in you, because you're a mix of the pitta and vata. Yeah, the vata, if you were just pitta, you would love the cold because pitta is like fire, whereas the vata is like air, energy. So you probably need some warmer foods in your system.
I do. That's why I start my day with broth. I like being warm. I like hot. That's why I did not make a great raw foodist. Sherry wanted to know, is there a particular brand of spirulina that you recommend?
Vimergy. And it's Vimergy, Vimergy.
Where does it grow? I mean, do you ever see it in nature?
It's an algae. So this is a freshwater blue-green algae. Yeah. I remember now, I saw one of your breakfasts and it was warm. You had cooked like some of your leftover dinner, and you added some vegetables to it, which I thought was really awesome. Yeah, everybody's different. Not everybody has to be raw. So you got to figure out what works best for you. And in addition to knowing your constitution, there's a thing called human design. Have you heard of human design?
No, what is that?
Oh my gosh. So it's kind of like astrology. So it's another huge modality in which you get to learn about yourself. So you have to plug in your birth time and your location. And through that process, you get what's called your energy type. And then within the energy type, there's like a ton of other information. I can't even explain it to you, but there are, within that realm, within all of that information, there's a piece on digestion. And so everybody there's, I think, maybe 6 different types of digestion. And one of them is, that they need warmer foods. I don't know the exact terms. Mine is called closed taste. And I think there's one called hot thirst, people who need like hot tonics and things of that nature. And then there's one where you prefer the colder foods, so you would do really well on a raw food diet. So there's 6 different types, and I think you can be plant-based on all of them, which is amazing. But it's really interesting because some of them will break down the frequency in which you eat. Some people need to eat first thing in the morning, they need breakfast, whereas other people do much better when they skip breakfast. So we need to stop, telling people they have to have, a certain routine, because we're all so different. But it's essentially an astrological modality. So it's a little woo-woo. I don't know if your audience is spiritual or not. I definitely am. So I look into all of this stuff. But it's really fascinating. You can learn a ton about yourself in terms of how to make decisions, all sorts of different things. So yeah, it's really great. But look at this beautiful color. And because the mango's in there, it's pretty creamy. Because oftentimes, if you're not using a fat source, like a nut butter or some seeds, you won't get that creamy texture, but with mangoes, you will.
That's a beautiful color. Susanna says, do you have a book on Ayurveda that you might be able to recommend?
Sahara Rose has written a few books on Ayurveda. And then Deepak Chopra, of course. So Deepak is known for his books on Ayurveda. Yeah. And if you want, I can send you links later. But yeah, Sahara Rose, she has more of a modern feel, whereas Deepak Chopra I think is a little bit more of, covering the ancient modalities within Ayurveda.
Mm-hmm. Amy wants to know if spirulina has a weird taste, or is it masked by the other ingredients in the smoothie?
It's masked by the other ingredients in the smoothie. So the orange juice really helps, and the mango and the bananas really help as well. But if you were to just put spirulina in water, and stir it up and drink it, it won't taste very good. But I honestly don't taste it when I have it blended like this. Like for me, this tastes really good. And then I like to just chop it with some fresh mango. And then I like to sprinkle a little coconut.
Like a little, you have like a tropical treat there.
Yeah, it adds to the presentation. It makes it more satisfying. It's a contrasting texture, which I think it's important to have contrasting textures. It just really helps you to enjoy the meal more. It gives your taste buds everything that you're looking for. So this is really satisfying. I think this is a really great health promoting breakfast. It's great for after a workout. It's even great midday, like if you need a little pick-me-up, because there is a B complex in the mango, and then the spirulina as well. So it's going to be an energizing combo, and it doesn't have that fat to weigh you down. So this would be good like as a midday pick-me-up as well.
Cool. Anne wants to know, what's the difference between chlorella and spirulina?
So chlorella is another algae, but as I mentioned earlier, I follow the medical medium protocols. And as I said, I'm very woo-woo. So I believe in all of the information he gets from Spirit. And he says spirulina actually helps to move the metals out, whereas chlorella might move the metal, but might also drop it. And so it could essentially just get dropped in your bloodstream. So it's essentially another algae, but I think spirulina is more health promoting.
Right. Donna wants to know, do you follow Dara Dubonnet?
I do. I love her. How did you know?
I don't know her, but maybe just based on what you're saying.
Yeah, I love her. She's amazing.
And Susanna wants to know, can you add spirulina to oatmeal, and how much should you use for the health benefits?
Yeah, you can definitely add it to oatmeal. I would just keep the fat low. So I wouldn't put like nut butter in the oats because it could slow down the absorption of the spirulina. And I would do like a teaspoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where can people find you, Edith?
So I am most active on Instagram, and my handle is just my first and last name. So it's Edith Agoston. And then I have my website, which is just edithagoston.com. And then I'm gonna hopefully start YouTube soon. So you're kind of helping me, Chef, because I've been a little camera shy. So I probably stumbled on my words earlier, but I definitely want to start YouTube and sharing here as well.
Oh, yeah, I think you did great. Very, very good. Very good presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, here's a question from Janie. Can you have, or can you consume too much spirulina?
Probably, too much of anything probably isn't great. I honestly haven't looked into it. I've had, sometimes I'll have 2 teaspoons in a day. I think that's totally safe and fine. But I wouldn't use like more than that. And it's also pretty expensive. So you probably wouldn't want to use more than that. So yeah, I would just stick to maybe the teaspoon a day.
Hey, that's good. Then that jar would last a long time then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite meal of all time?
I do love my smoothie bowls, and then I love a big salad with a homemade dressing.
What kind of dressing do you use? Balsamic vinegar by any chance?
So I have several dressing recipes in both of my books in the bundle. But essentially what I like to do is I like to soak a nut or a seed, and then I blend that with some sort of vegetables. So if I'm doing like a red dressing, I'll do red peppers, perhaps tomato. If I'm doing a green dressing, I'll do zucchini or cucumber, and then I'll add some herbs like dill, for example. I love a good dill dressing. Oh my goodness, they are so good.
I
Sometimes
saw a
I-
recipe on your website, Edith, with dill and potato that looked really good.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It's so creamy. If you blend steamed potatoes with, whatever kind of sauce ingredients you're going to make, you're going to get this insanely delicious and creamy sauce. I actually had an accident back in February, and I lost a few of my front teeth. And for a while, I had to puree all of my food while I was getting my dental work done. So I definitely have had my fair share of those meals, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. But back to the dressing. So I'll have the nut or the seed that's soaked. I'll have the vegetables, I'll have the herbs, and then I'll have some sort of a citrus. So like lemon juice, lime juice, orange juice, and then garlic and onion and spices.
Sounds good. So I guess for Christmas, you did get your 2 front teeth then.
Yeah, I actually just got back, Chef, from Hungary. So I'm from Hungary, as I mentioned, and I went there to go get my dental work done. I just got back on Friday night.
Oh, wow. And you're already on Chef AJ Live. Well, good for you. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, if you'd like to check out Edith's books in the bundle, there's a link. You can check it out. It's only going to be available for a few more days. And when it's gone, it's gone. And so you'd like people to hop on over to Instagram if they'd like to connect with you further, correct?
Yeah, that's probably the main place where they can connect with me.
Right. Susanna commented that she bet it's your healthy diet that helped you heal so well.
Yeah. So I was just doing juicing for the first 2 weeks because my whole face was pretty much broken. My nose was broken. I had kind of gashes all over my skin on my face, and 2 weeks of juicing, my face healed immediately.
Wow. That's it. Well, that's the power of plants, right?
Yeah, if only we could regrow teeth though.
Yeah. Well, maybe someday. Well, thanks so much, Edith. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure to be on, Chef. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being vegan and for helping other people eat a healthy plant-based diet. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time when my guest is a medical doctor. So get those questions in advance. When we have a medical doctor, we can't take them from the chat. Her name is Dr. Shayla Toombs-Wither. She's going to be talking about food as medicine and how you can actually eat your way off of medication.